15 years ago, the Daniel family were arguably the most powerful organised crime group in Scotland, but their influence was slowly being undermined by the rival Lyons gang in a battle to control the city's booming drugs trade. In 2006, Michael Lyons had been shot dead and 2 others injured in a brazen attack at a garage they owned in Glasgow, carried out by 2 Daniel associates. The strike was said to have been ordered by the feared and unpredictable Kevin Gerbil Carroll, who was also the son-in-law of Jamie Daniel, head of the Daniel crime clan. Carroll reportedly got the Gerbil nickname as a child from the Kevin character on the popular 1980s children's TV show Roland Rat, and his rivalry with the Lyons clan stretched back to his school days when he was reportedly bullied by members of the family. In 2004, he had been charged with trying to kill a gang member with an AK-47 assault rifle, but the trial later collapsed. 6 years later, police intelligence files had him listed as one of the top 15 criminals in Scotland. At the time, Gerbil, who lived with Jamie Daniel's daughter in Lennoxtown in East Dunbartonshire, clearly thought he was above the law. He was said to be the leader of a gang that kidnapped rival drug dealers, subjecting them to sickening violence to obtain cash, drugs, and weapons. Gerbil's targets were often found distraught and half-naked in the street after their ordeals, and the attacks were dubbed alien abductions because the victims told the police they'd no memory of what had happened to them. The infamous father of 3 had survived 2 previous shootings in 2003 and 6, all linked to the Daniel and Lyons feud. But in January 2010, it was third time lucky for the Lyons when Gerbil finally met his demise. His murder, committed in front of horrified lunchtime shoppers at an Asda supermarket in Rob Royston, was arguably the most public gangland hit ever carried out in Scotland. Carroll was at the Asda for a meeting with a local drug dealer who he had warned,
"You're working for me now. Anybody that doesn't fall in line is going to get banged."
Shortly before 1:30 p.m, 2 masked gunmen fired 13 shots through the windscreen of Carroll's black Audi A3, hitting him in the head and chest. Carroll, who was trapped in the Audi's back seat, could only hold a car manual to his face in a vain effort to deflect the bullets. The attack lasted just 25 seconds and he died instantly. The 2 killers escaped in a stolen Volkswagen Golf, dumping the guns behind a library in Coatbridge, later found by a member of the public. 2 men charged with Carroll's murder stood trial separately at the High Court in Glasgow in 2012 and 2015. Lyons associate Ross Monaghan walked free after a judge ruled that there was a lack of evidence against him and therefore no case to answer. The court heard from detectives who said Carroll was a violent loose cannon and many people wanted him dead. Monaghan's defence lawyer read out a list of 99 people who police thought may have been responsible for the murder, though Monaghan wasn't one of them. Following the trial, it emerged that a police constable had leaked secret police surveillance data detailing the movements of Gerbil to the Lyons. Derek MacLeod was subsequently jailed for 3 years and 7 months at the High Court in Edinburgh. 3 years after Monaghan walked free, a second man, William Buff Patterson, stood trial on the same charge. Patterson, from Cumbernauld, had left Scotland for Spain 10 days after the murder and never returned. In June 2014, he unexpectedly returned to face the charges against him, having handed himself into the police in Madrid. Patterson's DNA was found on the handle of a plastic bag that one of the murder weapons was found in, while a mobile phone used by him on the day of the murder placed him in Asda around the time of the shooting. The phone was then traced to Coatbridge, where the guns were dumped. This time, a jury found the 35-year-old guilty. Patterson was sentenced to life and told he must serve 22 years before he could be considered for parole. Judge Lord Armstrong told Patterson,
"This murder appears to have been premeditated, planned, carried out by you and others in the most calculated way. It was not a spontaneous event which happened on the spur of the moment. It was, in effect, an execution."
After the trial ended, Gerbil's £220,000 home was seized under the Proceeds of Crime Act to recover assets earned through his involvement in organised crime. 3 months later, Maryhill Police Office in Glasgow was firebombed twice in a bid to destroy a car seized after his death, allegedly on the orders of Jamie Daniel. In September 2015, an ally of Gerbil's, Ross Sherlock, was shot near St Helens Primary School in Bishopbriggs after picking up his daughter. And in January 2017, Ross Monaghan, who had walked free on the Gerbil murder, was shot outside St George's Primary School in Pennylea. Both men survived the attacks and no one was convicted. But it was the death from cancer of Jamie Daniel that would take the feud in a new direction and dramatically shift the balance of power between the two feuding factions.